Hi, folks. Before I did this podcast, I used to do a podcast called Skeptiles with a friend of mine, and his name was Scooter, and also with Sean, if you remember the show. George is a fan. That's how he and I met through the show. This past Saturday, Scooter died, which is not unexpected. He had cancer, so we knew that could happen. It was going to happen. But no one was really prepared for it. Certainly I wasn't. I got a text from Sean saying, hey, Scooter died. So I just want to say, Scooter, we're going to miss you. You're a good guy. I'm glad you introduced me to podcasting, frankly, because I probably wouldn't be doing this show if you hadn't brought me in to do Skeptiles. So thanks a lot, man. And goodbye.
Joe, you've mentioned that if you knew the world was ending, you'd do heroin.
Yeah, and?
Have you seen the world lately?
Well, as it turns out, George, I'm on heroin right now.
Really?
Yes.
'Cause you don't act like you're on heroin. You're not nodding off, you're not shitting yourself, and you're not robbing anyone for money to get heroin.
Well, I'm very good at it.
You're not on heroin. Why are you saying that?
I want to have a really cool soundtrack.
Heroin doesn't come with a soundtrack. Track marks, yes, but not a soundtrack. That's just this movie.
Oh, glad you told me. I really hate needles. Is there any heroin body wash?
I don't think so.
Then forget I said anything. Welcome to Does This Still Work? The podcast looks at movies and asks, does this still work? I'm Joe Dixon.
And I'm George Romaka. Today we're discussing Trainspotting from 1996 and some historical context. First, podcasty stuff. We're excited to announce that we've joined the Creator Accountability Network. CAN is a nonprofit dedicated to reducing harassment and abuse through ethical education and a system of restorative accountability. We joined because we care about the safety and well-being of our community members. If you feel our behavior or content has harmed someone, please report it to CAN, either via the reporting form on their website, creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org, or via their hotline at 617-249-4255. They'll help us make it right and avoid repeating that mistake in the future. CAN also needs volunteers from our communities to help with their work, so if you have skills you think would be helpful, or time and a desire to help, please visit their website to find out how you can volunteer. Most importantly, get the word out to other creators who you think would be interested in getting credentialed. Help us build safer communities together. You can reach us at dtswpod@gmail.com on Facebook, Letterboxd, and on our YouTube channel. Joe is on Blue Sky at joedixon.bsky.social. Please tell your friends about us, even the ones who stab somebody in every bar you go to together, and leave 5-star ratings everywhere. You can pick what we watch and get extra per episode content by funding us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/dtswpod.
George, I remember you used to stab a lot of people in bars, didn't you, when we used to hang out? I remember in our early part of our relationship, you're like, I really like being stabby. Stab. Stabbing George, that's what we called you.
Well, I was doing that so that I wouldn't be called, like, N-word using George. I was trying to give something else.
Well, I'm grateful that you managed to refrain from doing that. Okay, George, take us back to 1996.
Okay.
And this is the way it was.
This movie takes place in Britain, is primarily about heroin, and opens with a nihilistic monologue. So we'll look at heroin and nihilism for this history segment.
Oh, goody.
Yeah. Joe, give us our first headline from The Independent of London, Greater London, England.
Turkish gangs muscling in on heroin trade.
In 1996, there were about 20 Turkish gangs led by at least 12 Turkish families, driving up the presence of and down the costs of heroin in London. Even after police seized 1,000 kilograms of the stuff, they believed there to be at least that much that went undetected. These gangs and families supplemented their income by smuggling people into the country.
So they'd smuggle drugs and people. What a combination.
Yep. The increased drug activity also brought an increase in homicides related to that activity.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
My question is about the headline. Who are they muscling out of the heroin trade?
Good question.
Because from the article, all I can gather is that the supply was increasing, not that anyone was being supplanted.
That's a good point. There was a demand. Maybe that's where they should have taken care of things.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in our next story, because in a story that I'm sure could have been written about any number of towns in the U.S., the drugs moved in because all legitimate avenues of existential relief had moved out. Joe, give us our second headline from The Observer of London, Greater London, England.
Miners' children in the pits of heroin. Grimthorpe used to be a decent Yorkshire village community living off coal. John Sweeney discovers it has decayed into hopelessness and a generation is being destroyed.
We've heard it 1,000 times in 1,000 stories. The town's sole big employer goes out of business and the entire local economy craters. Well, that's what happened in Grimthorpe when the mines closed. The children of those miners, now adults, have no money, no jobs, and nowhere to go, so they end up selling heroin to each other. The cops can't even keep up with the influx. They pretty much
cops probably in on it themselves.
Yeah, they pretty much give up. The town tries to get a needle exchange going to keep disease from spreading and to get professional help for the youngest users, more and more of whom were in the 12 to 13-year-old population. But nobody would fund it. The town even asked for a community center. You know, as they say in Letterkenny, kids in sports stay off the streets. Well, that year, public funds went to refurbish Eton College's playing fields, but none were available for a community center in a town with 1,000 children.
Ah, my God, I'm glad we don't have that problem in this country.
No, not at all.
We fund our people and we make sure people get the stuff that they need.
Yes, everybody's basic needs are taken care of in the United States of America under Donald motherfucking Trump.
And needle exchange programs have never been controversial in America. We just say, hey, okay, these people need this needle exchange. They have a drug problem. We're going to do it to keep them clean, stop spreading disease. It's great here. You tell me about these goddamn UK stuff. It's foreign to me. I know of no such things.
And this movie came out in 1996. With the year 2000 right around the bend, the British Millennium Commission was looking for ways to inspire the populace. Prince Charles had other ideas. Joe, give us our last headline, once again from The Independent.
At least Charles has a vision. Never mind his whinging style. The prince is right to criticize the Millennium Commission's plans.
The Millennium Commission was looking at fun fairs, theme parks, and charity. Prince Charles saw this as a facet of the quote-unquote murderous nihilism of 20th century materialism. Joe, want to guess what he wanted to build instead?
Let's see. What did I know about Charles back in the day, 1996? Maybe something about not getting any sort of, maybe it was something natural, because he didn't believe in medicine and stuff. Everything should be natural. So maybe he thought of growing corn or something? Carrots?
Nope. Churches.
Okay. Churches?
He wanted to build churches. Because it wasn't enough that there were already churches. He wanted to build architecturally marvelous churches to celebrate our inevitable march into the future.
He's against murderous nihilism, but he wants to build a church?
More than one.
Know the history of churches.
I don't think so, Joe. I don't think he actually knows the history of the church.
If you want to find nihilism and murder, church will really work. And the mosque and the synagogues. I don't want to let any of them off the hook. They're all equally awful in my mind.
Well, the author in the article actually makes that point. Like, we should also be if that's the case, we should be building mosques and synagogues also, like architecturally marvelous.
If you're going to build churches, then yeah. I agree with that. Then if you're going to build churches, then yeah, you got to build for all the nonsense beliefs.
Yep. All right, Joe, let's talk about Trainspotting.
Let's do that. This is directed by Danny Boyle. Danny Boyle, oh boy, life's joyless boiling. I don't know how to do that song. I know just Danny Boy.
Danny Boyle. Da, 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 da.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a depressing song. Aren't you part Irish somewhere in there?
Yeah, like an eighth.
You should know that song. Is it required in like Catholic school or something?
No.
What is this song supposed to be about anyway, Danny Boy? Other than a boy named Danny.
It was set to the traditional Irish melody of London Derriere, which...
Derriere? Like an ass?
No, but there's no way you can pronounce this without...
Oh, okay. London Derriere. It's London, Derry, and Air. Wow. How do people not have a good time with that name? Oh, maybe this is where Derriere came from.
Maybe. So there were, according to Wikipedia, there are various conjectures about the meaning of Danny Boy. Some interpret the song to be a message from a parent to a son going off to war.
Okay. Well, anyway, Danny Boyle directed a movie we saw for the podcast, which was Slumdog Millionaire. Mm-hmm. And I've seen his work in 28 Days Later. And this movie was written by Irvine Walsh. He wrote the book. And John Hodge, who wrote the screenplay. Although they probably worked on it together.
Probably. They at least had a beer at some point. Or a pint, as it would be.
I'm sure many a pint was used into their system, put into their system while they were writing this thing. Blurbs. Hopefully not heroin, though, although maybe they did.
Hopefully not heroin.
Blurbs. IMDb says Renton, deeply immersed in the Edinburgh drug scene, tries to clean up and get out, despite the allure of drugs and the influence of friends. Rotten Tomatoes says...
Standing in for YouTube.
Standing in for YouTube. Do you want to get into why it's standing in for YouTube?
It's standing in for YouTube because we couldn't find this fucking thing streaming anywhere. And
not in place.
And the people who made the sequel did a really good job of making sure that any searching for it led you to that sequel and not this film.
Yep.
Which is how it escaped our notice that it wasn't actually streaming anywhere.
Right, because you checked these things before, but who knew? Like, they really tricked our asses there. Like, oh, fuck you. Here, you think you're going to find this movie? You're not going to find it. Here's T2. Trainspotting 2. This is what you're going to watch.
Yep, but the Rotten Tomatoes blurb here, very much like the YouTube blurbs that we've come to know as being long-winded and full of actors.
Indeed. So let's read it. Heroin addict Mark Renton, Ewan McGregor, stumbles through bad ideas and sobriety with his unreliable friend, Sick Boy, Johnny Lee Miller, Begbie, Robert Carlyle, Spud, Ewan Brimmer, and Tommy, Kevin McKidd. He also has an underage girlfriend, Diane, Kelly MacDonald, along for the ride. After cleaning up and moving from Edinburgh to London, Mark finds he can't escape the life he left behind when Begbie shows up at his front door on the lam, and a scheming Sick Boy follows. Before I get into the characters, I just want to say, we did watch this movie, we did find it. George had to do a, how do we say?
Torrent. I torrented it.
He torrented it. And for myself, there's this thing called VPN, and that assisted me in finding this picture, because apparently we in the United States can't have it. Goddamn Europe can, but we can't. I don't understand.
Fucking Europe.
Anyway, goddamn Europe. So are we going to invade and take them over? Characters Renton is played by Ewan McGregor. And for the podcast, we've seen him in Beginners. And both George and I have seen him in Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace. And I've seen him in A Million Ways to Die, in The West, and I Love You, Philip Morris.
And I've seen him in Moulin Rouge! It has an exclamation point. And Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Big Fish, and Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I've heard him in Robots, and Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
Sick Boy is played by Johnny Lee Miller, and for the podcast, we've seen him in Hackers, and I've seen him in Alice and Elementary, the TV show, which I really liked. He played Sherlock Holmes, another version of Sherlock.
Is that a fairly recent show?
Yes.
Okay, I think Kit
came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, cool.
Why?
I think Kit was watching it the other day.
Oh, yeah, it's a good show. I enjoyed it. Well, no. You're thinking of, there's young Sherlock Holmes. That's what Kit was watching.
Oh, okay. How did you know that?
Because I was there when she was watching it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You were. Okay.
No, we would see I broke into your house and I spied on you. And I watched it till you sleep.
Somebody's got to.
Begbie is played by Robert Carlyle. And I've seen him in The Full Monty and 28 Weeks Later.
And I've seen him in The World Is Not Enough.
World Is Not Enough. That's Bond. James Bond, isn't it?
The Pierce Brosnan one.
We should put Full Monty on the list. I got to remember that. Get to see some nice naked men's. You like the naked men's, right, George?
Not all of them.
Sure. Who would like all of them, for God's sake? You have some taste, for fuck's sake.
I mean, you don't like all naked women either.
I don't hate all naked men, to be honest. I don't want to fuck them. I just like, that looks like a nice body. Like, I appreciated, what's his name in... What was the movie where the brothers and sister is fucking? It's a comedy with Adam Sandler.
Oh, fucking the one
about my boy, my boy.
Yeah, My Boy, the child rape comedy. That's My Boy.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's My Boy. That guy looked fantastic. I like, Jesus Christ, that guy had a great body, and we saw everything. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to the credits here. All right, so Spud is played by Ewan Brimmer, who we also get to see everything of, actually. And both George and I have seen him in Wonder Woman and Snowpiercer.
And I've seen him in Judge Dredd, Snatch, and Pearl Harbor. And I put Snatch on the list because it's not on there. Or it wasn't on there. And I feel like we need to watch that for the podcast at some point.
We should. You know, I'll repeat this joke, but I know I've told it to you before. I don't know if you remember it. That one time I was in the bathroom, doesn't matter. But anyway, there's a poster up for the movie Snatch. And someone wrote on it, because it had all these male actors on the poster, and someone wrote, none of these actors has and they points down to Snatch. Which is true, as far as we know. Diane is played by Kelly MacDonald. It's her cinematic debut. And for the podcast, we saw her in No Country for Old Men, which I didn't even recognize her.
No.
Did you recognize her?
She looked older in No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, she definitely was older, but still, she had a great American accent. I didn't realize she was British.
Yep. And I've seen her in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. She's one of the weird people that was only in one Harry Potter movie.
She was in only one Harry Potter movie. Why was she only in one? Did they kill her off, or she's just a minor character?
She's in the last one. She was Rowena Ravenclaw.
That name means nothing to me.
Okay.
Tommy is played by Kevin McKidd. I haven't seen this man in anything, and George hasn't seen this man in anything but this movie. However, I know most people probably know him from Grey's Anatomy, as he's been on that show for almost 20 years. I read that in the IMDb. I assume that's true. Like I said, not watch one episode of... Have you ever watched Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah. Is that still on? Is that still making...
It's still on!
Wow.
It is still on. It's over 20 years now. It's amazing. It's Grey's Anatomy, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and The Simpsons, I think, are the oldest entertainment shows that are on TV.
Right. Wow, have they outlasted all of the soap operas?
No. There's some older soap operas. Like General Hospital's been on for like 60 years or something.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I'm like, wait a second. There's got to be some things from Joe's...
Well, yeah, I guess I said that wrong. You're right. You're right. I just meant of evening television.
Gotcha.
Well, anyway, let's get into the plot. If you're like me, you like movies, and you like movie podcasts. Sometimes you even listen to movie podcasts where they talk about films you've never seen. If that's you, and you are not aware of Trainspotting, then I should probably warn you about a few things. If you don't care to hear about a film that shows folks shooting up heroin, swimming in toilets full of fecal matter, literally shitting the bed, having sex with underage girls, and having a baby die, all done in Scottish accents, this might be the film for you to give a hard pass to.
All right, I'm the fuck out of here.
No, not you, George. You have to stay.
God damn it.
Calm down, you'll survive. So, let me summarize this flick. Ewan McGregor is a huge fan of heroin, and he hangs out with guys who also love heroin, except one, that would be Kevin McKidd. He doesn't love heroin, but when his girlfriend dumps him, he takes up his relationship with heroin, which will lead to his death. Although heroin isn't what kills him, it didn't help. Speaking of dying, despite all the shooting up...
And why does his girlfriend break up with him?
His girlfriend breaks up with him because she was upset. Well, she was upset before that. They were already having slight problems. But then the final breaking point was that a sex tape they made for their own entertainment has gone missing, and she blames him for it. And that was just the final straw. It turns out...
Ewan McGregor's character stole it.
Ewan McGregor took the tape for his own entertainment to watch with a friend, with Sick Boy. They both watching it together. Why he couldn't just return it to secretly, I don't know, but he keeps it. Or just not take the tape. That's another idea. Anyway, speaking of dying, despite all the shooting up people do, nobody catches AIDS.
Nope.
A point made in the movie. I had assumed this was because the book, Trainspotting, was written before the AIDS crisis, so that's why it's just glossed over, but I don't know that for a fact. Despite all being low-life druggies, all these guys do really well with girls, even though only one shoots up with them. That woman has a child who will die, and it'll turn out the father of her baby is Johnny Lee Miller's character, Sick Boy. He is a low-grade pimp who tries to recruit Ewan McGregor's girlfriend, McGregor's underage girlfriend. She's either 14 or 15. He is 26. By the way, he meets her parents, who don't seem to care their daughter has grown-ass strange men sleeping over in their house.
Nope, they sure don't, Joe. And the movie does you dirty on it. Because she's in a fucking bar. He meets her in a bar. Then they go home and they have sex. And you see you see her naked. And you find out later that she's underage. So, like, you enjoyed that scene. And then it makes you feel like an asshole for enjoying that scene.
Good point. And yeah, it is a cheat. The thing is, she's in a bar, so you automatically assume she's an adult. Which is what I've always defended. Let's go off on a tangent, because why not? That's why I've always defended Rob Lowe. I don't know if you know the story of Rob Lowe, but he was in a bar. He met this girl, took her back to his place, had sex with her. The girl actually made a tape of their sex acts together, and her parents got a hold of it and got him arrested because apparently the girl was underage. And I always said, well, that's really unfair, because he clearly thought this was an adult he was having sex with.
Yeah.
But it's still a crime, regardless. I learned that when I was working in child welfare, and they taught us that it doesn't matter if the person doesn't know this is an underage person having sex with. If you have sex with an underage person, you can be arrested and charged. Period. The fact that you didn't know is irrelevant. So keep that in mind, guys.
Yep.
Another friend of McGregor is played by Ewan Brimmer. His biggest scene will be unable to fuck his girlfriend and is shitting in her bed. He also gets a happy ending, not the hand job type. I mean, his character leaves the movie richer than he starts in the movie. The most violent friend is played by Robert Carlyle, who enjoys stabbing people more than anything else. Ewan McGregor makes a number of attempts to lay off heroin in the movie. His longest non-drug using period is when he leaves Edinburgh, Scotland, for London, England. London famously having no heroin.
Famously, as our history segment pointed out, has no heroin at all.
Or maybe just getting away from his friends is what keeps him straight? Certainly his life seems fine until one and then two of his former mates show up and crash at his place. Eventually, his old friends involve him in a drug deal, which involves, you guessed it, heroin. The deal goes on without a hitch, and they all make money. Money that Ewan McGregor will steal, but he isn't a total asshole. He likes Ewan Brimmer and leaves him a cut of the stolen loot. The end. George, I left out a lot. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, the way, like, he steals it in the middle of the night, leaves money for Ewan Brimmer's character in a locker, and the violent friend ends up getting arrested because he flips out when the money gets stolen, when he wakes up and the money's gone and he trashes the hotel room.
Yeah, and he's already on the lam, so
yeah,
the cops are already looking for him.
And, you know, in his attempts to quit, his parents come in to play a part, and I don't know, like, I haven't watched anybody detox, but I feel like it at least tried to do that justice and show, like, you kind of have to lock somebody in their fucking room and make them go through withdrawals, otherwise they just go and look for a fix, and he does look for a fix constantly.
Yeah, I mean, the parents do a pretty good job. I mean, he doesn't use again after that scene. He goes to London after that.
He does. He uses again. He uses again right before the rob. Twice. Right before the rob. Twice.
Oh, right. Because when they have him on the train, he takes it. And then, before that, to see if this heroin that's selling is good, he shoots up. And then later on the train ride to the deal, he shoots up.
But, and here's where I call bullshit on that. I quit smoking, I think, 11 years ago, as of this February. Wasn't the first time I quit smoking. First time I quit smoking lasted 1.5 years. Then I smoked 1 cigarette. And then I smoked for the next 3 years. Because even after 1.5 years, having that 1 cigarette just reactivated all the shit. And I was a smoker again. I don't think he could have, done the test shot and then the one other one in the train to say fuck you to his friend and not been, hooked again.
No, I agree. The film ends with him happily running off with the stolen loot, but it would be difficult to believe
that he didn't blow it all on heroin.
Yeah, except it's a sequel, so apparently he didn't. Because if he used all that money for heroin, he would be dead. Anyway, let's get into this. Let's do our discussion portion of our show. As a father, George, were you affected by the death of the baby?
I was trying to figure out what the baby died of. Apparently it was neglect, but I thought that the head looked a little weirdly cocked. So I thought somebody snapped its neck. But no, I wasn't really affected by it other than looking at it forensically.
Well, I think it helps that the baby doesn't look real at all. I mean, it looks like a fake baby to me.
I mean, not when it's dead. When it's crawling around, it certainly looks like a regular baby.
Yeah. It's very much a normal baby.
But nobody interacts with it. That baby is on its own every time we see it. Nobody.
Yeah.
And it's not screaming its head off because it's hungry the entire time. Which I don't for 1 second believe that baby wasn't starving all the time.
And someone must be cleaning him because he would be crying if he had a messy diaper. So, who knows? Somebody apparently shot up and took care of the baby. I do think the baby probably died of neglect, is what happened.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone took a drug in there and shot up the baby. Who knows?
That would be...
They never get into it.
That'd be super dark. If you saw track marks on the baby.
It is interesting that the baby just dies and there's no further investigation, just ends there, which would be impossible. Baby has died. There's going to be an investigation by the state on what happened to that baby.
As long as the state's aware that the baby existed in the first place.
Oh, you think maybe they didn't know?
Because mom doesn't go to prison.
If the mom doesn't... Well, they're crying and upset about it, so they must have told... Other people must know about that baby. There's no way they just had it and it was a secret. Anyway, it's not a huge part of the plot. I just was asking, because I know some people are affected when they see that sort of thing. Parents are like, oh...
I mean, they dwelt on that dead baby scene for a while, letting that woman scream her fucking head off.
We also see the baby crawling up a wall during his withdrawal.
Yeah.
So they don't let it go. This film is a subtle critique of moving from the Thatcher era to New Labour era of Tony Blair. Do you know any of that history?
I know Thatcher was a big fucking conservative piece of shit, and Tony Blair was what Democrats are today. So
basically, it was their version, or I guess technically he came first, so Bill Clinton would have been a version of him. But either way, it's he's it was, Labour used to be much more socialist, and then New Labour came along, and they're like, we can work with the Murdochs of the world, and we're fine. Yeah. We don't mind, we don't hate capitalism. So that's what that was all about. So yeah, it was a critique of going from that to that, although it's not the main focus of the film, I think.
No, and I, even being vaguely aware of it, wouldn't have pulled that out as, oh, this is a metaphor for that.
Critique, not metaphor.
Same. The two sides did the same coin on this one.
Why do you suppose these guys stay friends or frenemies?
I don't think they do. I think Ewan McGregor's character outgrows them.
But he still doesn't. I mean, imagine one of us is on a lam, we go visit the other, and you're selling my TV, or I'm selling your TV, and you're just being an overall dick about throwing garbage out into the hallway and shit. And no, I mean, eventually he finds them another place to stay. But I'm sorry, there's no fucking way I'm not. Okay, both of you motherfuckers are on the lam. Guess who's making a secret call to the cops? Get out of my life for good.
I mean, you know why? You really know why they stay friends, Joe?
Heroin?
Because the script says so. That's why.
I should have figured. Trainspotting is a UK slang for drug addicts who use abandoned railway stations in Edinburgh, Scotland to shoot up. What did you think this movie's title meant?
I thought they got high and stared at trains.
It's not unreasonable. They do seem to be looking at trains, but no, that's just where they go to shoot up, which I didn't know. I had to check that myself. I didn't know what Trainspotting meant either. I thought it was about trains when I first heard of this movie in 1996.
They shoot a dog in the ass with a pellet gun.
They do that, yes. But to be fair, it was to make the dog attack a skinhead, so it's really bad. Did this help you understand
I don't know. I don't know if the animal cruelty is not worth having a skinhead's face get ripped off. I'm going to drop that. I'm not going to think about that too hard. Continue, Joe, please.
Did this film help you understand addiction?
No, I
you
think...
thought it worked with the withdrawal scene. You thought that, you said... you said earlier.
I don't think it taught me anything I didn't already know.
Okay.
Or didn't already think I knew.
Do you think the film has the same effect that war movies have? And I'll explain this to the audience. War movies, there's
no such thing as an anti-war war movie?
There's no such thing as an anti-war movie because when kids, men mostly, young men see a war movie, all they see is the boom, boom, booms and the shooting and the blowing ups and everything, and they love it. They don't see the anti-war part. They say, oh, this is literally cool. Pictures like Full Metal Jacket. They actually show Full Metal Jacket to people, or at least they used to anyway, to recruit them to go fight a war, or to recruit them into the military. Mm-hmm. Because kids will look at this, young men will go listen like, wow, I can do that. I'm really tough. I bet I can take that drill sergeant yelling at me. But what do you think? Does it make addiction look cool or not?
No, I think it makes addiction look delusional. I think it did a good job of demonstrating that your addiction makes it seem more glamorous than it really is. Because even when they're high, they're just doing stupid shit and laying around. Yeah. Like, they're not actually doing anything that looks like fun. They're just laying there.
Yeah. I mean, the way it looks when they're getting high, I mean, it goes like falling through the walls or through the floors looks cool, but that's what they're experiencing. That's not... Yeah. If you walked into the room, you just see them laying there. And of course, he does go into a toilet at one point, literally.
Yes.
Goes right into a fecal matter-filled toilet.
Because he goes and he gets a suppository with heroin in it, and then has to take a shit, and then dives in after the suppository. That's...
Do you know what they used to shoot that scene? What the fecal matter was made of?
Chocolate something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. What else? I mean, they weren't going to use real shit, for fuck's sake. I just thought it was interesting trivia things. And, this is... Did you know?
Yeah, it's not...
chocolate for that.
It's not that much of an art movie.
Yeah, definitely not. What did you think of Diane, that's the underage girl, and Renton's, that's McGregor's, relationship?
Well, Joe, we haven't been able to say this in a long time. It's actually been a while since we saw unnecessary pedophilia in a movie.
And this wasn't even made in the 70s.
Nope.
Where most of those seem to happen.
There was no reason for her to be that young. She didn't look that young. And the movie makes the excuse for the continuation of the relationship by making her into this succubus who blackmails him into continuing the relationship.
Because as you know, you really need to blackmail men into getting pussy. I mean...
Even underage, yeah. But, like, it does that to exculp him from continuing the relationship. When it could have just avoided that by making her 18.
Yeah,
she could still want him to clean up and not be a degen.
When I first saw this film, I figured that the underage part was maybe for American audiences, just to have her say, oh, this is bad, or he thinks it's bad what we're doing, but still does it. But then I realized, no, it's from the book. So from the very beginning, the source material says, no, she's going to be underage. So you have to ask, why? Why was that necessary? Unless based on an actual experience by someone, either the author or author's friends, because otherwise why did this 20-year-old need to be having with this underage girl? I didn't understand why I was there. And why weren't her parents upset?
I mean, you can be not upset that your kid's having sex. That's fine. And
with maybe someone
and the
her own
funny
age.
thing is, Ewan McGregor didn't really look 26 either.
He does not look that old, but still, okay. The film, that particular scene, and they have sex. Then she pits him out on the sits, has him sleep on the couch the rest of the night. Her father walks by, says hello to him. This strange man, sleeping on his couch, and then they have him for breakfast. They're literally sitting down having breakfast. Oh, enjoying us. He's just eating away there, and then suddenly sees, oh, she's in her schoolgirl outfit. Oh my God, I had sex with an underage girl. Like this is an example of very bad parenting. I'm sorry. Who is this man in your house? I think they should care.
I mean,
even if he was of age, they should be like, who the fuck are you?
That might also be over the top British manners.
The Brits don't care. Someone strange sleeping in their house. Like, ew, Johnny, very good. Ew, stranger in our house, that's fine. That's my British accent. Did you like it? Ew.
I feel like I got some Cockney in there.
Ewan McGregor's in our house.
Okay.
Ew.
All right, Mrs. Doubtfire. Because that's who you're aping right now.
Well, I was going for Monty Python, but sure.
I think that's what he was
doing
too. So, I got some questions for you.
Hey.
This film was supposed to be punk in 1996. Does it still feel edgy to you?
I love the film techniques used in this picture, which have been duplicated many, many times in other films. Does it still feel punk? No, it's like 2026. This is only in 1996. Of course it still feel punk. Not that I knew what punk was in 1996. I was not a punk kid.
Yeah.
Wasn't into punk music or anything, although I like the soundtrack to this picture.
Yeah, so much so that you were willing to do heroin to
I was going to do heroin,
when
exactly.
all you have to do is make a playlist. But
well, I want to have the same experience these guys had.
Yeah, but as far as edgy, like it's a weird time to be doing a movie review podcast too, because the reality we're living in is so much worse than a movie. Trump broke satire with his first presidency. So Edge, it feels dangerous to be Edge because reality is just like hold my beer.
Yeah, 1996 was definitely not at all like 2026.
Yeah. So you saw this when you were 29. Now you're almost 60. Does anyone's behavior hit the same or different?
First of all, I'm not almost 60. I am almost 25. Thank you very much. That's ridiculous.
You say that's a weird comeback since you wrote the question for me to ask you.
Shh. Don't have people looking behind the curtain. Does the behavior hit you the same or different? It definitely doesn't hit me the same. I probably sympathize more with the parents now than I did then. I mean, not that I thought the parents were bad in any way. I mean, they clearly love their son and they're trying to get him straight off the drugs. But yeah, I disliked McGregor's character much more now as an older person than I did at the time. At the time, I thought, this is kind of hip and fun. I mean, I wouldn't want to be these guys. God knows, I never tried heroin, never would.
Unless the world was ending.
Unless the world was ending, exactly. Which could be any day now.
Yeah.
But I don't think there is anything in there that appealed to me particularly. However, I definitely dislike them more now. At the time, I thought they were okay, but looking back on it, these are terrible people. The McGregor character is terrible. All his friends are terrible, and they're all terrible to each other. And the poor guy who McKidd's character, whatever, the one who didn't do drugs and was in the health and everything and wanted to getting on drugs because his girlfriend broke up with him, whatever. His life would have been so much better if he'd never met those guys.
Yep. So, did you identify with anyone the first time you saw this?
The first time I saw this, I identified with anyone. I think I probably did. I guess I did identify with our main character. Like I said, I liked him more in 1996 than I do in 2026. McGregor is much more charismatic then. Now I'm looking at him like, what an asshole.
And
prick.
And I'll answer that too. Like, only in a very superficial level, I identified with Ewan McGregor's character because I did deal with an addiction and handled it. So, like, there's that thread of connection to that. But mine was nicotine. His is heroin. They're not really the same level.
No, your smoking was doing more to hurt your life than anybody else, unless they were in the room with you when you were smoking, I guess.
No, and I always went outside.
Yeah, but you didn't you weren't selling the TV to pay for your nicotine addiction or committing various crimes to do it. So very, very different addiction, but still difficult. Addiction is addiction in terms of like trying to break it. It's very hard. It could be food addiction, chocolate addiction, sugar addiction. It's hard to break it. It's very hard when a species that get addicted to things, I'm not sure other animals do.
Oh, absolutely other animals do.
Do they? Okay.
There are animals that will find that go hunting for fermented fruit because it gets them drunk.
Okay.
Like there are primates that do that. Like our cousins on the planet, they like to get drunk.
That makes sense, sure.
A lot of animals like to get drunk. A lot of animals will seek out mind-altering substances because they just like tripping balls. So there's been a sequel to this, and they may do another one. Would you see it? Probably not. Because
Probably not.
There is a sequel that you haven't seen because you don't want to.
Because I don't want to. As far as I'm concerned, this movie ended in 1996. I don't want to see what happens to these characters afterwards. Also, I can't believe, I don't know how they managed to fix it where they're all getting together again, but they don't hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no way. The movie ends with him stealing from them. Why would they?
The only one that might not hate him is the guy that he left money for.
Right, exactly. Other than that, they'd be chasing him down. And after all these years, one would hope they'd all just moved on already. Or they were dead from the drugs. But like I said, I didn't see the sequel. Maybe they cleared it up. I know there's talk of a third one where they're older guys. But, I mean, why would you care? I've never... It's not just this film. Movies in general, I'm not a big fan of going back and looking at what the characters happened with them. Because as far as I'm concerned, the movie ended. Those characters are done. Like, I'm not going to go see Ready or Not. I like the first one. I don't need to see what happens, especially if it's just going to be a continuation of what I just saw in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
I will see certain sequels, like I'll see Mission Impossible again, sequel. I'll see James Bond sequels, because usually those are standalone. And Marvel movies is a little different. But either way, for them, it is a continuing story. Something like Trainspotting was never meant to have a sequel. The movie was successful, and that's why it's a sequel. And that's the problem with a lot of sequels, is the only reason there is another movie is because the first one made a lot of money.
Yeah.
So they want to make more money. It's not worth really the characters coming back, other than someone wants to make more money. Why would I want to see that?
So, what was the scene you found the grossest? And I'm going to qualify that with in the moment found grossest.
It would have to be the toilet scene.
Yeah,
obviously.
It would have to.
When he's going down. I remember seeing that and thinking, they're not going to really have him start going into the toilet. And he does. He literally goes all the way into the toilet.
Because it's hard to see somebody leaning over a brown toilet and gagging and not have a bit of a sympathetic, like, nervous system response to that, like, as if you're in the room with them.
Mm. We've all dealt with clogged toilets.
Yeah. So
the idea of someone having to go into one is like, oh my God.
I almost dropped my work phone in the toilet the other day.
Mm.
I had cat-like reflexes and managed to trap it against, like, the inside of the toilet so it didn't go into the water. Like, I was like, whoo, that was a close one.
You're lucky. I went to drop the cell phone into the toilet, and of course it stopped working after that. I actually had to grab it out. I couldn't just leave it there. It wasn't even in my house. It was when you remember when I went away to hang with my friend Craig at what the other comics are out in I want to say Connecticut, if that's not correct. And whatever I went to, anyway, another state. And we were staying at their cabin, and it was very nice and fun times. And at some point, I was using the bathroom, and somehow my phone slipped out of my pocket and went right into the toilet. And I was like, oh, God. Not a way you want a vacation.
Nope. And finally, when you were a film major, was this the type of film you wish you had directed?
No. I like the film. I still like the film in terms of the way it's set, the way it looks. Very wonderfully shot. Danny Boyle knows how to shoot a movie. But I was more of along the lines of, now, I'm going to say a name. I'm not endorsing him as a person. I'm just saying his artwork. I was more of a Woody Allen fan, on Spike Lee also, where those sort of stories is what I preferred more than hip stories about drug addicts. Or if it was a story about a drug, it was a minor character like Spike Lee did in Crooklyn. But other than that, those are the type of films I would have liked to have directed if I were a director. Actually, I ran across a name of a guy named Joe Dixon who was a director, and I'm thinking maybe I should steal his identity.
Yeah, just sally on up in there.
I'm Joe Dixon, from the movies.
Alrighty.
I wonder if there's any way. I'm curious who this guy is, if we could somehow get him on the show just for kicks. It'd be funny.
Just have two Joe Dixons. I mean, I could get.
We should have did that for multiplicity. We should have found someone named Joe Dixon, and you should have found someone named George Ramaka.
My dad. I could have gotten my dad on.
Oh, that's right. He's George W. Ramaka?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. You could have got your dad. I couldn't. I mean, my dad. I could get your dad.
No, I get it. Have you?
Right.
You haven't met my dad, have you?
I feel like I have once.
Maybe.
Because I think I met him with your mother-in-law, with your stepmother.
Okay.
I seem to remember that, unless I made that up in my head.
I mean, I don't know how many pictures. Like, I don't think I've showed you a whole lot of pictures of him. So.
Well, I don't really know what he looks like.
You must.
I've seen pictures on your Facebook and stuff. And also sometimes I'll put in your name just for fun, and your father will come up.
That happens.
Oh, this is George. That's why I know it's George W. Ramaka.
Yep.
All right, let's get into this. Does this film still work?
I'm going to do the cheap out answer that I want to do, but I know isn't going to be the thing that stands. No, because you can't fucking find it. It can't work if you can't watch it.
I think that's fair, actually.
But that's not actually the answer is no movie with unnecessary pedophilia works.
Yeah, I figured that would be where you were. That's where I thought you were going to focus on. It's like, yeah, that is just unnecessary, especially since we've watched them have sex. Like,
and enjoyed it. Like, it was a good sex scene.
It's like, why are you bringing us into this? Why are you making us guilty in this? And I think that was 100% intentional for us to go like, we've also saw this underage child. Although, obviously, the actress was 19, but still, it's like, why are you doing that? Yeah, I have a problem with it on that score. So I'm going to give it a tentative. It still works in the sense that it still looks great. I like the way it's shot. I think the performances are pretty good and somewhat realistic. That is an asterisk on it with Diane. It just doesn't have to be there. It's not the grossest underage girl thing we've ever seen, but it's just unnecessary. It really is. So it does hurt the film, but I'm going to say it still works.
Okay. You're free to be wrong.
Okay, George, what's up next?
Next week, and it's kind of appropriate given the icy hellscape we're in. Next week we'll be talking about RoboCop, 1987.
Never saw this movie. I am familiar with it. I assume you've never seen it.
I've seen it.
Oh, you've seen RoboCop?
It's been a minute.
And what did you think about it when you first saw it?
Pretty nifty. As a sci-fi movie.
Let's see if I agree with you, and let's see if you still think so. Oh, anyway, so that's it for this episode. I'm Joe Dixon. Thanks for listening.
And I'm George Ramaka. Thanks for listening, indeed. Because if a podcast drops and there's nobody around to hear it, it's just another collection of ones and zeros that doesn't matter.
You've been listening to Does This Still Work? Produced by Joe Dixon and George Ramaka. This content is CAN credentialed, which means you can report instances of harassment, abuse, or other harm on their hotline at 617-249-4255 or on their website at creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org. The hosts can be reached via social media, email, or the contact page at dtswpod.com. Be good to yourself and others, because that still works.
You're just going to let that go, huh?
I didn't hear you.
Oh, he said you're free to be wrong.
Okay, that's fine. Just be sure that you were talking into the mic.
Okay. From No Stupid Questions. If celebrities have so much money and access to the world's best doctors, why does their plastic surgery look so terrible? From Stupid Questions. Does anyone else skip the sponsored Google results and scroll down to the first organic link even if the ad leads to the exact same website? From Random Questions. You have to defend yourself in combat using only a vegetable. Which vegetable are you choosing and why? From No Stupid Questions. What's up with everyone online thinking they are neurodivergent without getting tested? From Stupid Questions, I turned 42 today and am staring an inevitable midlife crisis in the face. I don't have money for a red sports car, nor do I have a secretary I can make a mistake with. What can a broke dude do? And finally, what purchase under $100 improved your life the most?